Welcome to project briefing for U08096 OBU Honors Degree Project. I'm Dr. Teo Kim Hing, the project coordinator. The aim of this module are twofold. First, this is an individually supervised project, allowing the student to investigate a chosen problem of their own to form an extended study of a topic selected from a suitable area of the student program of study, and that involve the solution of a practical problem. So, in the past, you have done too many assignments set by the lecturer. Now you are given a chance to choose a problem and conduct your own investigations to provide a solution to the problem of your choice. Secondly, the project is intended to cumulate the course, giving the student an opportunity to present the breadth and the depth of knowledge gained in their specialized topic. So project is the one really show that you can conduct independent problem solving of reasonable scale. The dictionary definition of dissertation is as follows. A dissertation is a voluminous formal report of the author's dissertation work written to academic standards for the purpose of receiving a higher academic award. So, a dissertation must be a thick report, formal report, and have academic standard. The term dissertation is used interchangeably with the term thesis, and the dictionary definition of thesis includes the following meaning. It is a hypothetical proposition, especially one put forth without proof. The hypothetical proposition renders itself implicitly in the title, in the abstract, or the aim of the dissertation. These are the three most important elements in your proposal. The major part of the voluminous body of the dissertation is devoted to the collection of primary and secondary evidence to support the hypothetical proposition. The hypothetical proposition is the main theme of the dissertation. So, your project must have main theme, which render itself as a hypothetical proposition, a research question, a claim, and the dissertation is devoted to the justification of that particular claim. The project component take 2 terms to complete. So you should plan to finish your project during the last 2 terms of your study. For full-time students, the expected duration is 1 year for your study. So you should start your project in the second term of your study and complete the project by the end of the last term, which is the third term of your study. For part-time students, it's expected to complete the whole study in 4 terms. So you should arrange to start your project in the third term and complete the project in the 4th term of your study. There are 4 phases of your project work. First, Project idea initiation. So you should start thinking about your project, explore the project idea to deliver the draft project proposal. You will be given about 1 month time to finalize the proposal. One, I give you the supervisor. After that, you should work with your supervisor for 4 months to complete the project. At the end of the project, there is a project viva where you are asked to present and demonstrate your project. After 1 week of the project viva, you should submit the final dissertation. Finding a suitable topic for your project is critical to the success of this module. So you should spend much thought and serious consideration to find a suitable topic, and you should think about a suitable topic as soon as possible. Project idea may be initiated from many different sources, and some of the possible sources for consideration are: if you are a working adult, then you can find problem in your workplace and try to find a solution to the problem in your workplace if such solution is academically sound. Secondly, personal interest. In the past, you most likely have explored some topic that you are interested in. You may choose one of the topic, explore further, and become your dissertation. You may also explore previous projects and find whether they require further work. Such further work can form a possible honor degree project. In fact, you are encouraged to skim through some of the sample projects which are available in the digital library in the learning portal, Course Networking. Before you submit your proposal, you should evaluate whether your project is feasible or not. It must be feasible in the following sense. It must be realistic and achievable within the 6-month time scale. You must deliver the project by the second term. You should look into the problem whether it's academically sound. You should look into the scope, that means how wide and the depth of the project. You must evaluate whether you have experience in that particular industry, in that particular domain. You should evaluate whether information are available for you to conduct literature review. You should consider whether you have the resource to do experiment implementation. What makes a good honor degree project? First, a good project must have a clearly defined and measurable aim. In other words, the focus of the project must be well defined. Secondly, there must be well defined and measurable objective. The project work is a journey, so along this journey, the major milestones are called objective. Such objective must be clearly defined in your proposal. Third, in your dissertation, you must show awareness of the current state of the topic of your choice by literature review with proper citation of the source. If your final dissertation doesn't show critical literature review with proper reference and citations, the first class project is gone. You must be able to show your ability in analysis and synthesis in problem solving. You must be able to provide logical and consistent argument. Most importantly, you must be able to demonstrate you can construct an artifact, a product, an outcome that make use of appropriate methodology and technique. So you can't just present your program, your design, without explanation of the methodology and technique you use, and analyze why you choose the methodology and the technique, and how you synthesize all the technology to solve the problem. Project proposal is the first deliverable of your project work. A project proposal template is available in the learning portal Course Networking. The template lists and explains the following project element. You will find project proposal submission form. Secondly, the template provides space for you to enter title, introduction, and rationale of your project. Aim and objective are defined in the template. You should provide brief description of the research and methodology and what are the resources for your project. There should be a Gantt chart showing the project template. There should be a reference list, and the reference should be in Harvard reference law. You should watch the recorded video on proper reference citations. The video is available in the learning portal. Project proposal submission. You must submit the proposal by October 21st, 2019. You submit the proposal through the assignment Dropbox in Course Networking. Once I collect all the proposal, I will source for a supervisor for each project. You will be allocated a supervisor within 1 week. That means by October 28, 2019, you can log on to Course Networking and you can find your supervisor in the file named Project Supervisor Allocation.xl in the right-hand corner of Course Networking. You shall work under the supervision of your supervisor for 4 weeks to finalize your proposal. And you should submit the finalized proposal by November 24, 2019 to your supervisor. Your supervisor will send the final proposal to me, and I will send the proposal to the university. After the finalized project proposal, you should start working with your project under your supervisor supervision. This is the most important phase of the project, and the duration is about 4 months. During this period, you should work independently under your supervisor. You should submit regular progress report to your supervisor. There is no fixed format for the progress report, but I will recommend you to submit the progress report as individual chapter of the final dissertation. So in this way, the progress report will grow and eventually become the final dissertation. Toward the end of your project work, there is a Project Viva. The Project Viva is tentatively scheduled on March 30, 2020. This will be changed most likely to early April 2020. You should submit a draft dissertation to your supervisor before the Project Viva. You should do some mock project presentation and demonstration with your supervisor. During the Project Viva, there will be two assessors. One is your supervisor, the other one is informatics lecturer. You should conduct presentation and demonstration of your project work to the assessor. The assessor will feedback to you and ask questions, and you should try your best to answer. You are advised to adopt a more receptive approach to the criticism from your assessor. Dissertation submission. Well, the assignment are submitted in soft copy. The dissertation must be submitted in hard copy. The dissertation is the most important accessible output of the project, although other deliverables such as your program report, your proposal are also important. You should submit 2 hard copies of your dissertation 1 week after the Project Viva. The dissertation must be checked by your supervisor. Make sure that the dissertation is properly bound, signed, and each dissertation is attached a CD. The CD should be put in a soft pocket and attached safely with the dissertation. The CD content should include all the supporting documents, including source code, executable, interview, raw data, and so on and so forth. Here are some common mistakes in student project. First, some students fail to contact the supervisor. If you never see the supervisor, you most likely will be failed in the project because such project is not trustable. Secondly, some students fail to manage time and the project progress. So you can't deliver good result on time, on target. Some students emphasize in one area and overlook other aspects. It's easy to score well in a project through a balanced approach. That means you spend proper time on dissertation, on documentation, on software development, on analysis. It's quite common that because students emphasize on actual project work and forget the documentation. Unfortunately, documentation is the only means that external assessor can see your project work. Poor documentation will imply poor project mark. Lastly, poor reference and citation. This is not forgivable because for the honor degree project, critical literature review is a must, and literature review without proper reference citation is not acceptable. This is the criteria for first-class project. The criteria are copied directly from the project handbook. Let me go through it. First-class work is relatively rare and is expected to stand out from the work of other students. First-class object must directly address the question or problem raised. In other words, it must solve the problem properly to some extent. It must provide a coherent argument displaying an extensive knowledge of the relevant information. This is most likely render itself in the critical literature review. A good project must have a critical evaluation. So evaluate the concept, the theory, relative theory, and practice. Again, this is most likely render itself in the critical literature review. Originality is important for the first-class honor. Good project must always provide evidence of your work, evidence that you read a lot. Good project must display an awareness of other approach to the problem area. Again, this is most likely rendered in the analysis and critical literature review. Second-class upper project. In UK system, a second-class upper project is prestigious. Good second-class honor can get direct admission to PhD program in most UK university. Good second-class upper means you score at least 65 and above. Second-class upper project must be a highly competent in terms of performance. Second-class upper project must provide a coherent argument drawing a relevant information. Again, second-class upper project must be able to show evaluation. They must have some own argument. The originality may not be as good as the first-class object, but they at least must have own argument. They must have provide good evidence. May not be as comprehensive as the first-class project. Must be able to display an awareness of the approach from the other area. This is similar to the first-class project. The assessment of the project is as follows. First, the proposal carried 10% of the mark. Interim report, that means the progress report, carry 10% of your project work. These two components is decided purely by your supervisor. Final dissertation carry 70% of your work, and the project viva carry 10% of your project work. There are two independent markers assessing your project work. However, your final mark is ascertained by external examiner. After the exam board, the final result and grade for the project will be notified in the OBU transcript. The first deliverable of the project is the project proposal. The project proposal will form the first chapter of your final dissertation, so your work in your project proposal will not be wasted. Actually, you score twice, one in your proposal and second time in the final dissertation. The proposal is critical because it defines the project work. It serves as a contract. So in the proposal, the title, aim, objective, and time plan must be clearly defined. The proposal carries 10% of the overall project mark. You cannot change the project title once you submit the proposal. So you must be careful in defining your project title. Every project must have a main outcome. This main outcome can be a website, an application, a game, a simulated network, a model, a framework, a theory, etc. Then this project title should be a short and precise noun phrase describing the main project outcome. For example, informatics system is a bad title because it doesn't tell what the outcome is. Are you talking about an accounting system, a student registration system, a human resource management system? We just know that it's used by informatics, but the final outcome of the project is not clear. A student project management system for tertiary institution. This is a good title because it describes the main outcome in a short and precise manner. The project title is a short and precise noun phrase describing the main project outcome, but it's typically not long enough for us to describe the project outcome clearly. The aim statement provides a wider area for us to describe the project outcome. So it can be in a statement or a whole paragraph. For example, the following is a proper aim statement for the student project system. The aim of the project is to develop a website for a tertiary institution that support the management of student projects. The website allows the students, project coordinators, and supervisors to manage the deliverable and assessment of student project. I mentioned that the project work is a long journey. While the aim defines the main outcome, which serves as the destination of the journey, the objective defines the measurable milestone along the journey. The critical thing is it must be measurable milestone, not minor tasks. And it must be measurable. Measurable in the sense that when the assessor read the dissertation, it can find how you deliver the milestone, how the milestone is achieved. There should be 4 to 6 objectives for an honor degree project. If there are too little objectives, then the scope of the project is not clear. If there are too many objectives, then the project will look fragmented and not focused. This is an example of a bad objective. To support member login with password authentication. In fact, this is just a functional requirement. they are part of the complete software requirement specification. This is to do this thing, to deliver this one is just one minor task. The following is a proper objective: to conduct interview and brainstorming session with the stakeholder to define the software requirement specification. You look at this objective statement, you see that the deliverable is software requirement specification. It's clearly a major milestone. It also clearly states the task for the objective, meaning there will be an interview, brainstorming session, and other activity that involve the stakeholder. This is measurable in the sense that the assessor will be able to find a chapter or at least a few pages in the dissertation that devote to this particular milestone. You should explore the project class in course networking. For example, in the academic resource, you can find the project handbook, project briefing style, project submission form, project proposal template, project dissertation template, reference and citations. You can also find dissertation library, where I include many good project dissertations online. You can download, browse through the dissertation, look at the chapter 1, which is essentially a project proposal. You should look at the standardized project documentation before you submit your final dissertation. You should read plagiarism issue to avoid accidental cheating case. You should use the assignment Dropbox to submit your project proposal. You should look at the critical project information to find the time for your deliverable. You will find the deadline for the project submission, finalized project submission, project viva, and dissertation submission. This is the end of project briefing. Thank you very much.